There we go. That's an interesting experiment. I learned something. So I'm building my house. This stuff here, this construction adhesive, subfloor adhesive, is supposedly good to -18. Shot a little video of it here yesterday. It was grabbing, but it definitely wasn't like solid. I was able to pull it apart. I'll show you that really quick here. We're going to do a little experiment here. So this is DAP, subfloor construction adhesive. And according to the paperwork, it says it works on frozen, wet lumber. And so I'm curious. This is kind of a double experiment, actually. This tube got left in the gun. So it's been out in the freezing cold temperatures for a couple days. Dropped down to -8 or -9 Celsius. We're going to dig some wet lumber out of this mess on the ground here. Squirt some glue out, screw it together, and see what it looks like come tomorrow. We're back. Take these screws out. Well, it hasn't cured yet. Guess I need to do a little bit of looking and see what the cure times are next time. Don't try to pull it apart 12 hours. That being said, it was -10 last night, I think. Celsius. That's quite a bit below freezing. Maybe I'll try it again. So I did some reading and discovered that there, as it gets colder, the cure time is longer. So I'm curious about what the cure times are. So we're going to take a few frozen pieces of lumber and we're going to glue them together and see how long it takes for them to really set up to the point where I can't pull them apart. First things first, let's get some lumber. Here's all the offcuts from cutting off the joists. We'll pull a few of these out, glue them together. Now this is going to be a super scientific test here. Okay, so this glue has been in my house, so it's warm right now. What we'll do is we'll put a couple beads of glue on here, screw them together, and then we'll let them sit. We'll open up one tomorrow, one the next day, 4 or 5 days, so quite a long time, and see if it sets up by then. First things first, let's open this up. In a previous video, I commented about how my Milwaukee caulking gun didn't have the little end cutter, and there was a bunch of comments of, well, why don't you just carry a knife? I do carry a knife. I'm just saying. $200 for that thing. It's funny that the $5 things have the same features. Anyway, that's open. Puncture the membrane in there, and then let's do some gluing. Into the gun. Battery. Put some glue. Okay, let's lay these out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moderately clean side. Although it does say it's good for frozen and wet lumber. We'll just go with frozen right at the moment. See how she does. Alright, so 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, and then whatever's after 72, 94. Give it a rub back and forth. I mean, it's definitely grabbing. So the little clip I showed you before was with frozen glue. The glue had been out overnight, and I think it was -5 or so Celsius. This here was in my house, so it's definitely different than before. We'll see how this goes. Ambient temperature, it's -10 out right now. The wood's been outside for several days, and it's dropped down to -14, -15 overnight. So it's definitely cold. The glue is warm. We'll see if that makes a bit of a difference compared to the last one. But let's put some screws in. So I'm using the screws mostly for clamping pressure, and then we'll back them out when we try to pull the glue apart. Okay, there we go. 24, 48, 72, 94. I wonder if I should leave it like that just to bug people. 96. Well, now let those cure, and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll see how they do. 24 hours has passed. Dropped down to -15 overnight.
18.
Oh, -18 overnight.
18.
So they're pretty cold. And let's take the screws out of this one and see if it'll come apart. Left this battery out so it's cold.
I was gonna ask.
And I think that's actually, this one's dying, I think. Better than walking all the way back to get a battery, though. Nope.
We're gonna have to walk out for a battery.
24 hours, sub-zero. I can see myself in your glasses.
Well, good, because they're fogging up and I can't see much.
Oh. There we go.
Did not set up.
Well, it has somewhat. 24 hours. That was harder to get apart than the other stuff I did, though.
Oh.
I'm going to squish it back together, see if it'll actually set up. Too bad you're not tall enough to reach the top. 48 hours. Let's see what happens. Okay, so yesterday was a bit of a struggle. Let's see what it does today. Well, it's definitely curing.
Very slowly, though.
Very slowly. Let's put it back together, see what it does. Here's the one we pulled apart yesterday and stuck back together. Oh. There we go.
Still sticky?
Let's stick it back together again. See what it does. 72 hours. Day 3. And this is, what was the temperature? Minus 11 according to the truck?
Sure.
Okay. 22 hours. Definitely not breaking it off that way.
I see that wood. Oh, there it goes.
Starting to bend the wood. It's definitely getting harder, but I'm suspecting that we may need more than 4 days.
The one that's already broken was pretty easy to break, though.
Easier, that's for sure.
Yeah.
In full disclosure, yesterday was actually the 96th hour mark. Got busy, distracted, and forgot to come out. Not the worst thing in the world because it wasn't quite cured the day prior to that. So the extra 24 hours here, so we're now at 130 hours, whatever that works out to be. Let's see how it's doing. Minus 11 right now, got down to minus 24 overnight. So let's see how this does. Well, I guess that answers the question. While we're at it, let's check these other ones. There we go. That's an interesting experiment. I learned something. The glue does cure. I couldn't break this one. I mean, you saw the other ones. I was able to break them apart. That one, couldn't do it. I'm sure if I pried harder, I probably could have, maybe. But it definitely is curing, definitely getting stronger. So there you go. Minus 24 and that stuff's still curing. So that's a good thing.